How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Infinite Sports. I'm your host, Kenneth Ruenfelder. To recap last night's game between the Yankees and the White Sox, the Yankees picking up another victory, defeating the White Sox 8-1. Two more home runs by Aaron Judge, and we are going to talk about the MVP race because that's been a topic of conversation now with the regular season coming close to an end here. Only 4 more games left in the regular season, and still a lot to be decided with the playoff standings as well. But this game didn't start off pretty for the Yankees. Max Fried got the ball for them, and he pitched very well. Got into a bit of trouble in the second inning, but he was able to settle in and give the Yankees 7 strong innings. But yeah, he pitched a clean 1-2-3 inning, made it look easy. And then this is what really frustrated me. So in the bottom of the first inning, so the White Sox went with the bullpen game. They ended up walking the first 3 batters, Grisham, Judge, and Bellinger. So bases loaded, nobody out. And you think, okay, the Yankees are going to cash in, they're going to get some runs, or at least get 1 run here. But no, Giancarlo Stanton comes up, he flies out to right field. Then Ben Rice strikes out. Then they bring in a righty to face Paul Goldschmidt, and then he strikes out. So the Yankees, I don't know how you do that. How do you not scratch across a run when you got bases loaded, nobody out? And it happens all over baseball. But how do you not get at least 1 run? So, missed opportunity there for the Yankees, and it quickly came back to bite them because the White Sox then immediately score a run in the top of the second. Miguel Vargas leads off with a single, then Colson Montgomery singles. Later, there was a sac fly by Sosa to make it 1-0. There was a throwing error. Ryan McMahon, kind of a low throw to second base to try. The Yankees were trying to turn a double play. Jazz wasn't able to scoop it up. It goes into the outfield. Thankfully, the runners didn't advance, and Max Fried was able to get out of it. He gets Brooks Baldwin to fly out and Michael A. Taylor to strike out. But these are the kind of things that worry me going into the playoffs, is when the Yankees make plays or don't make plays, and you got stuff like this happening. That worries me. And the White Sox are a bad team. They couldn't take advantage of it. But if you do that in the postseason, the teams you go up against will take advantage of that. So the Yankees have to be very mindful of that, and I'll always be saying this, they need to clean it up. So in the bottom of the second inning, Jazz strikes out to lead off the inning, but then Volpe, who again has been swinging the bat a lot better, doubles. Ryan McMahon struck out. Trent Grisham ends up walking, and then Aaron Judge comes up, and he takes the first pitch to right center field for his 50th homer of the season to make it 3-1. And my sister actually said he's going to hit a home run right before that happened, so a good call on her part. And Judge joins a very elite class. So he has now joined 3 other players. He becomes the 4th player in Major League history to have 4 50 home run seasons. He joins the Babe Ruth, Mark McGwire, and Sammy Sosa. That is elite company right there. And that just further shows what kind of a special player we are watching in Aaron Judge. I mean, it's unbelievable what he is doing. And the other thing, too, is I wanted to bring this up as well. I thought I took a screenshot of it. Oh, so now amongst Yankees now all time, he now ties Mickey Mantle for second in most multiple home run games at 46. And the only player that has more is Babe Ruth in franchise history with 68. So yeah, Judge still has some ways to go before catching the Babe there. But again, just another milestone for Aaron Judge. And because he hit a home run later in the game. So that put the Yankees up 3-1. And then at that point, you felt pretty good about things. Max Fried settled in. Yankees tacked on another run, a couple of more runs in the bottom of the third. Ben Rice tripled. And then Paul Goldschmidt goes the opposite way, good piece of hitting, scores Ben Rice to make it 4-1. And then Jazz Chisholm hits a ball out to left center field for a double. And Paul Goldschmidt scored all the way from first base on that hit. I didn't expect that to happen, but that was another run there. Jazz continues his hot hitting. He needs to come up big in the postseason because he was kind of disappointing last year during the Yankees playoff run. He needs to come up big this time around. So we'll see what happens there. So it was 5-1. Again, Max Fried mowing the White Sox down. The Yankees didn't score again until I think it was the bottom of the 8th inning. So Fried, he got through the 7th inning. He threw over 100 pitches, and it's interesting because when he went up against the Orioles, he threw around 87 pitches. He threw a little over 100 pitches to get out of the 7th. So I don't know. I still think he should have pitched the whole game against the Orioles, but again, it's in the past now. But the Yankees bullpen did its job in the final 2 innings. Devin Williams pitched a clean 8th inning as he continues to look good going into the postseason. That's big. So the Yankees tacked on a few more runs. So Trent Grisham, 2-run homer. The Yankees. This is actually a 2-out rally for the Yankees. 2-run homer for Trent Grisham, his 34th of the season, and then Aaron Judge followed that up with his 51st homer of the season to make it 8-1. And then the Yankees brought in Paul Blackburn in the 9th inning, pitched a clean inning, did give up a hit, but didn't give up any runs. And the Yankees win, and they pick up their 90th win of the season. 3 hits for Judge last night. Looks like he cemented the batting title. Now he's at 328 on the season. Hit 2 more home runs. He got to the 50 benchmark, and then added another home run onto that to make it 51. So yeah, 2-run homer by Grisham. Bellinger had a hit. Stanton had a hit. Rice had a hit. Goldschmidt, Jazz, Volpe. Ryan McMahon went 0 for 3. He did walk, a couple more strikeouts. But it was overall a good night for the Yankees. They did go 2 for 10 with runners in scoring position. They left 7 guys on base, but hey, look, they got the win, 8-1. Devin Williams looked good, got his ERA. His ERA is under 5. And Paul Blackburn pitched a clean 9th inning. So now the Yankees are 90-68 on the season. Now, what happened around the league? So the Blue Jays and the Red Sox, what happened in that game? Red Sox immediately jump on Max Scherzer, put up a 3 spot in the 1st inning. They end up winning that game 7-1. Garrett Crochet picked up his 18th win of the season. And just like that, we have a tie on top of the AL East. Now the Blue Jays own the tiebreaker. So the Yankees need to win at least one more game. The Blue Jays need to lose at least one more game. And then the Yankees will be past them. But it has to happen on the same day, and it has to be when they're tied. So if the Yankees win tonight, Blue Jays lose, then the Yankees are in sole possession of first place, and then they just have to win out, control their own destiny. But I don't see the Blue Jays losing out. That's why every game is very important. And I saw the pitching matchups coming up this weekend with the Orioles. The Yankees are going to see Trevor Rogers again, and they're also going to see Kyle Bradish again. And the Yankees had problems with both of those guys in the previous series against the Orioles. So we'll see what happens tonight. The Red Sox, they got Brian Bayo going for them. And then for the Blue Jays, they got Luis Varland. So Yankees have an opportunity again to win a game. And if the Blue Jays lose, they'll be in sole possession of first place. And that hasn't been the case in a while. I didn't think that was realistic. And it's kind of funny because it's a reminder of what the baseball season is. It's a very long season. You go back and you watch my video after the Yankees played the Mets for the first time, and I said how the team was pretty good. Everything was going right for them, and then everything changed. They were playing some very poor baseball. And then I finally caved in and said, yeah, this team, they look like frauds right now. They are frauds because of how they played against good teams. That's kind of what a fraud is. But then they started playing better baseball. They played well against the good teams. And now all of a sudden they made up all that ground, and now they're tied in first with the Blue Jays. So now everything's right in the world. They look like that team that I said was pretty good back in May. Even though there are some things that still worry me. So it just goes to show you can't make a final declaration on a team until we reach the end. Now, the Yankees waited a very long time, longer than they really ever had, because, when they go through these summer swoons, it seems like it gets later and later until they finally wake up. I feel like this is the latest. And they're playing good baseball. And that has to continue. And they know what's at stake. They got Carlos Rodon going tonight. They get another win. And if the Blue Jays lose tonight, like I said, you control your own destiny and you play the Orioles. There's tough pitching matchups this weekend, so you have to worry about that. And Fried and Rodon have already pitched. Rodon's going to pitch tonight. So guys like Will Warren, Cam Schlittler, Luis Heel, it's on them to match what those guys on the Orioles do. And I'm already looking ahead to that series because even though we still got one more game tonight, but that's what's at stake. The Yankees have a legitimate chance now to take back this division and win it. And you would have home field advantage throughout the American League playoffs. So how about that? But you can't slip up. You got to keep it going. And there's pressure on the Blue Jays. There's pressure on the Blue Jays now. They've lost a couple games in a row now to the Red Sox. I thought they were on a 3-game losing streak, but yeah. Lost 2 in a row, and there's a chance they might get swept. And then you play the Rays after that. The Rays are not going to go down quietly. So, yeah. And then looking around the rest of the league, so the Guardians, they defeated the Tigers again. The Tigers have now lost 8 in a row. The Guardians are now in first place, sole possession of first place. How about that? And I had the Guardians winning the Central before the year started, so there's that looked like that had no chance of happening, but. The Tigers are really, really struggling. And there's a chance they can miss the playoffs. But the Astros keep losing. They've lost 5 in a row. The Mariners, they clinched the AL West last night. First time since 2001 they've done that. So, they're playing really good ball right now. And, so they're going to be at least they have a chance to have home field advantage throughout the playoffs. I think it's either going to be the Yankees or the Blue Jays. But they're going to have a bye. They're going to have a bye, at least. So they will not be playing on Wild Card weekend. And then you look at the other wild card teams. So the Red Sox, they play the Tigers this weekend, so that could be huge. Maybe the Tigers get things right, and they could pass the Red Sox depending on what happens. The Astros are 1 game out behind the Tigers. So, there's a chance we might not see the Astros in the postseason at all. And I didn't think that was going to happen. And then over in the National League, so the Brewers, Phillies, they wrapped up their divisions. The Dodgers got a big win last night. It looked like they were going to blow another game to the Diamondbacks. Bases loaded in extra innings, and the Dodgers were able to get out of it. And they ended up winning that game. That game finished. How many innings that went through? That went into 11 innings, right? Yeah, that went into 11th inning. So 11 innings. So there was bases loaded. Dodgers were able to get out of it, and they ended up winning in the 11th inning. And again, nobody wants to take that third wild card. The Mets lost again. So I would talk about momentum. The Mets get destroyed by the Cubs, and then the Reds lose, and the Diamondbacks lose. So the Mets are still in sole possession of the third wild card. The Padres lose a tough game yesterday. And then that combined with the Dodgers winning, it looks like the Dodgers are going to win the West again. But looks like they're going to be playing as a wild card team, which is interesting. And the Cubs clinched the top wild card. So they're going to be playing either the Dodgers or the Padres. More likely the Padres. So that's what's going on around the majors. But a couple of things. I actually forgot to bring this up. So, and this has been out for a few days now. But ABS is officially going to be implemented next year. And the rules for that, each team will receive 2 challenges. Successful challenges are retained. Only batter, pitcher, or catcher may challenge. Assistance from dugout or elsewhere not permitted. So yeah, this is the automatic ball strike system. Challenges must be made immediately after the umpire's call. And we saw that in spring training. Video will play on scoreboard and broadcast to communicate result of the challenge. So that'll be in effect next year. I cannot wait for that. That needs to be implemented. Now, there needs to be some kind of strategy behind it because obviously you don't want to be challenging every single call because you could end up losing your challenges very early in the game. You got to time it right. I think this is going to benefit a lot of players. Umpires get calls wrong all the time. They need to be held accountable, and this is a way to do that. So I am all for this. I like it. I think, I understand why you don't want to necessarily have it so you can challenge every single call because then the games are just never going to end. There's always going to be wrong calls. But I think this is the right approach. I really like this, and I can't wait for this to be implemented next year. Okay, so now let's talk about the MVP race. All right, so Cal Raleigh last night hit 2 more home runs, 60 home runs on the season. What a year he's had. And the Mariners, AL West champs. How about that? So this is a highly debated topic. Because on one side, you have everyone that is for Aaron Judge and are saying that Cal Raleigh has no chance of winning the MVP. It makes no sense. And then on the other side, you have people saying it should 100% be Cal Raleigh and nobody else. And I feel like because Cal Raleigh has reached 60 home runs, and because, switch hitting catcher, the position he plays, he has a very strong case to win the MVP, and I think he's going to end up getting it. But I know, and I know people are going to roll their eyes because you see what's in the background. You know what I'm going to say. Aaron Judge should win the MVP. Aaron Judge should win the MVP. Aaron Judge did miss a week with an injury, okay, and he was DHing for a while. But I think it's still Judge. The only stats that Raleigh has Judge beat in is home runs, which, again, very impressive, and RBIs. Judge has him beat in batting average, in slugging, on base, OPS, you name it. Runs scored. And before Judge got hurt, Judge was playing some really good right field. He's making great plays. And actually, we saw last night him unleash a throw in the game. So that shows that maybe the elbow is, starting to really feel better. Because before that, he's just, throwing it to Jazz Chisholm, the cutoff man. But I think it still should be Judge. Am I going to be upset if Cal Raleigh wins it? No, because Cal Raleigh has had a great season. But I think it should still be Judge. But I don't like how you have both sides saying the other player has no chance, should have no chance of winning. It should only be this guy. Because I think you can really make strong arguments for both players. And who knows? Maybe they tie. Imagine if they tie. But yeah, actually, the other thing with Judge too, and I think Michael K brought this up, which I thought this was interesting. So Judge, it looks like he's going to win the batting title. All right, Jacob Wilson of the A's is behind him. But Judge could be joining another class of winning the batting title and hitting 50 home runs in the same season. Babe Ruth, Jimmy Fox, Mickey Mantle, and Ted Williams have done that. So again, that's just another exclusive class that he would be joining. So yeah, Cal Raleigh's making history, but Judge is doing the same thing. But I really do think that Cal Raleigh's going to win more so, because I really do think that there's a Judge fatigue, and they just want to look for a way to give it to somebody else. I do believe that. But again, I'm not going to be up in arms over it because Cal Raleigh has had a very good season. 2017, I get it. Judge was robbed of that. Judge was robbed of that MVP. So we'll see what ends up happening. They got 4 games left to really improve their stats even more so and make a case that, hey, it should be me, it should be me. They're not actually saying that, but you know what I'm trying to say. I will say, though, okay, Cal Raleigh's at 60 home runs right now with 4 games left to play. I think there's a good chance he's either going to tie or surpass Aaron Judge's record from a few years ago, the American League home run record. I think there's a chance that he's going to do it. I really do. Got one more game against the Rockies tonight, going up against a pitcher that gives up a lot of home runs. I think it wouldn't surprise me if he hits 2 more home runs tonight. And then you got 3 more games left. I mean, I think he could pass Judge. And it's amazing that that's going to happen. Because when Judge did that a few years ago, you're thinking, yeah, it's going to be a long time before somebody comes along and breaks that. And then all of a sudden, 3 years later, you got this catcher from the Mariners who is in striking distance. But again, credit to him, man. He's had a very good year. So I'll be honest. I'll be a little salty if that happens. I'll be a little salty. But here's the thing, everybody. All right, Judge is not slowing down. If that happens, Judge could come out next year and hit 64, 65, whatever the number is. Hit 70 home runs next year. So don't be so discouraged. And on top of that, I mean, what if the Yankees go on and they win the World Series? Then is it really going to matter if Cal Raleigh does that? We'll see. But like I said, I think Cal Raleigh has a very good chance of breaking the home run single season record in the American League this weekend. Tonight and then against the Dodgers. But only time will tell. But I just wanted to bring that up. So we brought up ABS, the MVP race. I think it should still be Judge. You can call me biased. But if it's Cal Raleigh, I think he deserves it too. I do. Because he's and I know you look at the batting average, you look at the OPS. Judge has got him beat there. But 60 home runs is a crooked number. You know, and he's a switch hitter. I get all that. I get all of it. But to me, Aaron Judge has had the better year. Just doesn't have as many home runs. So let me know what you guys think. Who do you think should win the American League MVP? Let me know in the comments. As always, everybody, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the video, to the channel. Make sure to follow us on the social media platforms in the description below. And wherever you get your podcasts, you can follow us there. You can listen to us as well. Just look up Infinite Sports. Also, we have Thursday Night Football tonight. Seahawks against the Cardinals. So I'll make my pick very quickly here. So we'll combine Yankee recap with the Thursday Night Football game. So right now, the Cardinals are 1.5-point underdogs coming off of that loss against the Seahawks. Or coming off against that loss against the 49ers. Seahawks destroyed the Saints. I like the Seahawks in this game. They're getting a couple more defensive players back for this game. Witherspoon's back for this game. I think they're the better team. It's a divisional game. We'll see what happens. Will Marvin Harrison Jr. step up after a rough game last week? Cardinals defense hasn't been bad this year, but I just think the Seahawks are the better team. I like them in this spot. So I got them to win and to cover the 1.5. So that's my Thursday night pick. Yankees taking on the White Sox, and let's see what kind of theatrics we got for tonight. But, yeah, we went over the whole spiel of, follow, subscribe, like, all of that. So, as always, everybody, I'm your host, Kenneth Gruenfelder, signing off. Have a good one. I'll talk to you guys next time. Take care.